up, Dan Nation? Guy Fieri here, and today we're rolling out another edition of our Danette Specialty Drink Series. Today's Danette is the totally rad Seton O'Connor. Let's make the soundboard slurry. You're gonna need some Irish whiskey, Scotch whiskey, Polish vodka, and of course, shellback rum. And then you pour it all together. You know, I'm gonna be a minute. The box score starts right now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Power Cow for box score. Welcome to the box score. I'm Brock here in Los Angeles. The Danettes are out there in Milford, Connecticut, joining us. And Paulie had to catch a bus apparently to the nearest beer and sausage festival. So we're -1 Danette today. Let's get to it. The start of today's show was intense. The boss came out with his take on comments made by Boomer Esiason. Seton, do you know that DP is passionate about a topic when he starts taking calls in those first 2 segments of the show?
Yeah, that's like Halley's Comet. I mean, that almost never happens. So it's got to be some type of big event happening that is like really affects a lot of people, or something that he's super hot on. And to be honest with you, I'm almost never prepared for him. I just forget and ignore callers altogether. And then all of a sudden I hear like, Bill in Tampa, you're on. I'm like, holy, okay, I'm ready. I was prepared. Sure, no sweat.
You want to call or you want to ask me a question? All right. Fritzi, was there any effort to get Boomer or Deshaun Jackson on the show?
We held off on Deshaun Jackson after the incident yesterday, and I did speak with his representation late yesterday, and they are efforting to get him on as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for yesterday when they pulled the plug on it. As far as Boomer, you know, we handled it in our own way, and you know, they got enough attention for what was going on with the comments that were made. So again, we just handled it in-house, and we didn't extend an invitation to Esiason to be on today's show.
Well, it was all about pregnancy, and you guys gave us a unique look at the importance of positioning when it comes to helping your wives give birth.
I was here.
Yeah.
Oh my I was here for the cellar right here.
I went Tony Pena, Dan. I put the leg out like Tony Pena.
I was here for 3 of them. The last one, I was here. So Fritzi, get up a little bit. I was actually holding.
Is it too late for the epidural?
Yeah, no, there was no epidural for the last one. So I'm like this for the last one.
See, I like that.
And then there was a midwife here who hated me. And we're like looking at each other.
You know, I was really nervous and didn't know what to expect when my wife went into labor. But then from the moment that her water broke to the moment my son Kieran was delivered, I thought it was the coolest thing I had ever witnessed. And not like, you know, to be like great husband, dad guy or whatever. I was absolutely fascinated by what my wife's body was doing and was like, whoa, this is the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was amazing.
I was hoping my first experience was going to be cool, but when our son Jordan was born, they kept telling us to wait in our apartment, and you know, you're gonna get false labor pains. They weren't believing that my wife felt like she was very close to giving birth. So by the time we got there, literally, I don't want to be too gross, but before she could even lie down in the hospital bed, I can see the crowning happening while she was standing up in her gown. The head was literally coming out while she was in a standing up position, and they finally got her down, and within like 45 minutes, she came out. Jordan Drew. It's really not what I planned. It wasn't attractive.
Oh man, you're awesome, dude.
Is she just gonna drop that thing like the meaning of life where the baby drops on the, you know, there are precautions. We have hospitals. Okay, well, Mclovin, you're over there with your hands in your pockets the whole time, and you didn't take part in that demo. You just said, you kept on saying, what? I mean, did you actually pass out when your daughter was born?
No, but as you can see, it's a little gross. I actually didn't speak up on this topic the whole day because I think the actual birth is totally overrated. And I feel every day after that is as special, if not more special, with my daughters. But I felt like it would be totally un-PC if I weighed in. I thought it was very clinical and not so super emotional for me. In fact, in part because I was sheet white and I had to get away from there and ask the guy to drug me first. I guess the word would be grossed out a little bit. Not grossed out, I couldn't watch. I was definitely on the home plate side. I was the umpire.
There's fluids and stuff, it's not
Yeah, your story right now, by the way, ruined my lunch.
I apologize.
I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Seeing a portion of a head there just causes all kinds of problems later on.
I'm seeing Sigourney Weaver and aliens for some reason in my head. Okay. We decided to see how close a spot you hold in the boss's heart. And we asked him, would he take a show off to be with you in the hospital if you were undergoing major, and I say major surgery, Fritzy. Let's see what he said in this edition of Boss's Thoughts.
No. They have family to do that. But if something tragic happened to them, I would miss the show for the funeral. It's the least I can do.
Yeah, I unfortunately have had my share of hospital stays, some more extensive than others, and I think if I was in some dire situation, I do believe, I don't care what Dan says, if I was so ill that they didn't know what was going to happen to me as far as my mortality, I would like to believe he'd come visit me in the hospital. But until then, I did get the note, while they were resecting certain body parts, do we have anybody for the second hour yet? Those were the kind of messages I was getting. Did you send in any mock headlines?
Yeah,
stuff
my
like
Dallas
that?
itinerary.
Yeah, well, exactly. Did you book my flight to for the football game? Stuff like that. Very, very sensitive stuff. While I can't eat anything and I've got stitches all over my body, but we all have our priorities.
There are moments though where Dan will check in if he's concerned about you. Or I've had only a handful of times where like I've had something going on and I got the call and hey bud, just checking in on you, see how you're doing, and that always means a lot, but I've gotten way more, do you have my Dallas itinerary type things.
Actually, it's not analogous at all. It's actually a positive thing, but Dan sent me a really worried text. He's like, I know the day I was getting married, he sent me a big text, be like, I know you probably were a little nervous, but it actually wasn't the day I was getting married. It was the Saturday before, even though I had invited him. He had the wrong date and sent me a week early. I'm really concerned about you, buddy. I just want to make sure you do great today. I'm like, yeah, it's next week.
He also dropped a little hints like on the air. I'm like listening to the show from my hospital bed. So Fritzi should be back tomorrow or definitely by Monday the latest. Just kind of letting me know you've been out long enough. So whatever's going on with you, you might want to get back here the next day.
That's why if you're out, you don't listen to the show. Don't listen. Don't watch. Don't even do anything. When my wife was having my son, I was like, all right, dude, so I'm off for the week,
I remember
right?
that.
Like, that's it. I'm out later. And if I catch the show, I catch the show.
And Steve should be back with us tomorrow, or definitely by Wednesday.
Not even close.
I'm picturing Fritzy pulling out a catheter. Give me my book. I need to book someone. Okay, coming up, David Letterman is retiring, but the infamous El Machete has made a return appearance. Light a match. More box score in just a moment.
I was on when Letterman and Jerry Seinfeld were interviewing Michael Richards. This is when Michael Richards had his racial meltdown doing stand-up. I'm following that. And Seinfeld comes off stage and says something about, follow that, good effing luck following that. Oh. It's the only time I can say I was funnier than Letterman and Seinfeld.
Welcome back to the box score. The boss looking back at one of his appearances on the Letterman show. Dave made headlines yesterday as he announced he's retiring next year. Growing up in New York, how big a fan were you, Fritzy?
I was a huge fan of Letterman. I hadn't gotten a chance to see him in person until recently when Dan was on the show and we all went as a group. But back in those early NBC days, and I would be up with my brother, watching the 12:30 to 1:30 in the morning show, and I had to get up like by 7 a.m. for school. So I was in a daze half the time during school. But I just, the stupid human tricks and pet tricks, the writer's embellishment, and everything he was doing on the streets in New York. I thought he was hysterical. And next thing I know, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning watching the show up until like the middle of the night.
Yeah, I was a big Letterman fan. He was sort of, he had more of an edge and was a little more punk rock of the late night shows. It was totally rock and roll, and that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I think I like the early Letterman with like the Chris Elliott and the Larry Bud Melman. Yeah. I kind of like the zanier skit stuff. Although I'm gonna be honest, Dan's last appearance on there turned me off to him a little bit.
You know what, dude? I had the exact same thing. I really became not a fan of him after that.
Yeah, that was just sort of. He was a little. I think, he was just a little bit of a downer.
He was really rude to Dan, frankly, and sort of like acted like his appearance there was a joke or something, and it was just like, wow, what a
Or he didn't know quite what Dan was doing now professionally and was just kind of...
Letterman acted like he had some kind of April Fool's prank played on him, that he was sitting next to Dan. It was just really insulting.
Dan did bring up the time when he took all of you to the show and pointed out one particular incident involving Fritzi.
How would you describe that hallway with the 2 dressing rooms?
I wish the band was there sparking up. You went El Machete on that bathroom.
There should have been a wider space. I don't know why the restroom has to be so on top of the green room. It's really not
I
necessary.
felt bad for Ed Helms from The Office.
I did too. I was looking for Lysol, Glade, a match, anything I could get my hands on. There was just nothing, not Renews-It, anything.
But trying to be so discreet, too.
Oh,
He quietly
He
walks.
walks out like he's trying to tiptoe out of the bathroom at the end of the hall.
Yeah, I'm glad we could all relive this. Looking back now, I can laugh at it, but we all know I have certain issues, and I'm sensitive to some of those issues. We make some jokes. I play along to a certain extent, but truth be told, when Paulie decided to take a picture of me coming out of the bathroom, that was stepping over the line. There were some bowel issues, and when you have to go, you have to go. And next thing I know, there's pictures being taken and odors being commented about, and there's guests waiting in a room in close proximity and look like they're turning pale and maybe canceling their appearance all because of me, and it was uncomfortable.
Well, that's a jerk. That's a jerk move on Paulie's part. What kind of guy would take a picture of you at that priceless moment?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you know?
Very rude.
Is this the guy?
There it is.
Is this the kind of thing that just crosses the line sometimes?
Not happy about that.
The camera lens there is really playing. It's sort of an optical illusion because that hallway looks way bigger than it actually was.
That's got some kind of spooky Stanley Kubrick Shining kind of thing to it, like the hallway goes down. Hotel forever.
I don't even really understand what El Machete meant.
I
don't really get the joke, but somehow it worked perfectly. I thought it was great because...
Isn't that a Robert Rodriguez movie?
Yeah, but what exactly does it mean? I mean, we all know El Baño. We're not supposed to say that.
It was El Baño, but he just I was actually going to ask that during the show. I'm like, what is he talking about with El Machete?
I didn't know what
it's such a damn funny phrase. But it actually makes no sense.
Someone going around cutting people with a...
Like if you're in the car, you're like, what the heck?
Cutting down people that day with that.
I guess that's what it meant.
We all know that this is a sensitive topic and we really shouldn't talk about it, and we should be much more respectful.
It sounds like it was sensitive to Ed Helms down the hallway. Okay. Mclovin, you paid tribute to Dave with your Against the Grain. Here are some of the awesome highlights from the top 10 reasons you know you're way too into the NFL draft.
Number 10. You DVR'd Derek Carr's Pro Day, and it wasn't even on TV. Number 9. You go to McDonald's and order a Khalil Mac. Number 6. You accidentally ordered Jadeveon Clowney for your kid's birthday party. And the number 1 way you know you're too into the NFL draft. You actually Google Blake Bortles instead of Blake Bortles' girlfriend.
Wow, that's a shining moment.
Crushed it.
Well, the thing is that I think I didn't notice Dan was so scared that I was completely going to blow it that he had to hide his face.
But you had some good ones in that. It was very creative with the playing off of Letterman's announcement. I really liked what you did there.
Agreed.
Yeah, you got to mix in like some lame ones to be like Letterman. I probably should have let them lay a little bit more. You know how Letterman and Dan, it's great at that.
The funniest one is usually like number 6 too.
Where
you're like, wow, that's number 1.
Then number 5, Dave's like, who writes this crap? But I didn't really have anyone else to play.
I liked it.
All right, well, let's honor Dave with a quick look back at some stupid human tricks involving you guys. Fritzi, who could ever forget this moment when you let Paulie Mclovin slam a cake into your face?
That's a lot of cake in the face.
Not really Mclovin, mostly Paulie.
Oh, then Mclovin getting leveled by Rodney Harrison in New York.
He really hit you. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, then Seton punching Jeremy Roenick in the face.
That, I heard the sound.
Oh, the worst.
Seton, do you still peek over your shoulder looking for JR every day?
I punched him in the face.
It's the most horrifying moment
That
ever
is the
in
stupidest
history.
human trick I've ever seen.
Oh my God, I feel so terrible about that. I really honestly do. I can't believe I punched a legend square in the jaw, even though they asked me to.
He echoed all over the man cave. You really hit him.
What did I just do?
Coming up, we'll talk a little music here on the Box Score, and Fritzi will give his advice on what to do on a first date. Uh-oh. That's next. Welcome back to the Box Score. We had a writer on from Rolling Stone today to talk about the anniversary of Kurt Cobain's death and the legacy of Nirvana. Seton, what kind of influence did they have on you growing up, and did they play any part into your radio career?
Yeah, huge influence. Nirvana was absolutely gigantic for me, like the biggest thing in the world. By the time that they had broken, I was already sort of like, I was skateboarding a lot and getting into punk rock and stuff, and all of a sudden Nirvana hit, and it was like everything just sort of exploded to me. I borrowed my friend's guitar and started learning how to play, and really that sort of skewed the direction of my life much more away from sports and much more in the music direction, and there's no doubt that that's how I ended up in radio. Absolutely.
Mclovin and Fritzi, let me ask you guys, what kind of music did you guys listen to growing up?
I was all about top 40 and Solid Gold Countdown, and then it became, Run DMC, Beastie Boys, Hall & Oates, of course. That was, and that's all still pretty much what I listen to. I have no emotional connection to the Pacific Northwest and Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder. I honestly don't. I'm glad Seton does, but give me Daryl Mack and Jam Master Jay and DJ Run.
I was all about indie rock, but not like fun indie rock, like the kind of indie rock that you could be intellectually superior to other people by liking. Pavement, Guided by Voices, Built to Spill, and I would rub it in your face. I was so cool in the 90s, Brock, you had no idea.
I was probably jamming DeBarge or maybe the Carpenters. I'm an old guy, so.
El DeBarge?
Yeah, El DeBarge, Rhythm of the Night. Guys, it's insight like this.
The rhythm of the night. Love it.
We probably don't have the rights. No, okay. Guys, it's insight like that made you a household name, sort of. And we here at the Box Score always love to hear from Dan Nation, so we set up a voicemail to see if they had any questions for you. Let's see what's on their mind as we dive into the brand new segment called Box Score Voicemails. I know, real witty title, of course. Our first voicemail is from Chris in Wisconsin.
I got a question for Seton. I'm taking a road trip to West Virginia. Going to be close to the campus. Can you suggest some watering holes nearby that I can find some trouble?
Man, I'm going to guess that most of the watering holes, college bars tend to turn over a lot, like almost on an annual basis. So I'm going to guess that like the Dungeon, Speedies, and places like that aren't open. I can also guarantee you that downtown Morgantown has got a ton of bars that are very easy to get into.
Great advice. Next up, we have a question from James in Arizona.
Hi. This question is for Fritzi. I'm 17 years old and very shy and nerdy like Mclovin. I want to ask this girl out, but I don't know how to break the ice. Do you have any pointers for me, and can you also suggest what I should do for a first date?
I think you go right up to her and introduce yourself and just say, you caught my eye and I'd like to take you out sometime, and just keep, don't be creepy the way I can be, and we joke around about that to a certain extent. Then don't all of a sudden hug her for 30 seconds when she doesn't even really know who you are.
So he went to the right guy for advice then.
I would basically
like
introduce yourself and just just be yourself. Don't try to be somebody you're not, and ask her out and see what happens. If she's not interested, she's not interested. But it's and then as far as where you go, take her out for a nice dinner, something you can afford, maybe a movie, not one of the movies that I watch, late on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Something fun, something with some laughs, some kind of something where they keep their clothes on for the most part, so it's not awkward.
Hi, I'm Fritzi. Meet Mr. Gray. Okay. Finally, let's see what Derek in Pennsylvania wants to know.
Hi, this question is for Mclovin. I'm having a little trouble with my math homework. Wondering if you could help me out. Two cars leave the same spot at the same time and travel in opposite directions. Now, if one car travels 50 miles per hour and the other one at 60 miles per hour, how long until they are 495 miles apart?
Oh my God.
It's going to take a little time.
Dude, I haven't done my SAT prep work. All right, 409. All right, let me see. 50. Does anyone have a pen?
I don't.
Does anyone? I don't have a pen.
That's what iPhones are for.
Now get back to him on that.
Calculators.
Can I do that? Answer that after the break.
Yes. And I think an important point to make here is D equals RT, I think. Great job, guys. Okay, Fritzi, tell the fans about the new Box Score voicemail and how they can get involved.
I'd be happy to do that, Brock. Fans can call us 24/7, 7 days a week. Ask us anything that's on their minds. The number is 888-484-3635. Once again, 888-484-3635. We'll listen to them all, and your voicemail may just wind up right here on the box score. Call now. Once again, 888-484-3635. We look forward to your calls.
All right, drinking, dating, and math. Let's cut down to the math, though. Coming up, we'll get Fritzi's take on the great one as we wrap things up here in the box score.
This is Mike Francesa, and I'm missing the birth of my child to watch the box score.
Mike Francesa reproducing is a scary, scary thought. Welcome back to the box score. Last call here at the box score bar. Wayne Gretzky reproduced with Janet Jones, and boy, did he. Paulina Gretzky made the cover of Golf Digest in a racy outfit and apparently created a little controversy on the LPGA Tour. Fritzi, give us your thoughts on this hot topic.
I think anyone that's offended by that needs to get past that. It's Paulina Gretzky, by far the greatest accomplishment by Wayne. Has nothing to do with what's happened on the ice. That's a pretty great accomplishment by Gretzky right there. And you know, I could understand some of the fellow golfers in the LPGA world being a little sensitive about it, but she looks great with her club there. So just let it go and admire it. Don't buy the magazine if you got a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old SI philosophy. Like, why do we have women on swimsuit on them? There's no real reason. Why not? You don't need a reason to put Paulina Gretzky on the cover.
Maybe Dottie Pepper next time, or Savory Pock would work. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Dottie Pepper.
Dottie Pepper. All right, let's quickly hit another story in the news recently. The Buffalo Bills, are for sale. And we were wondering if each of you could buy a franchise. Which one would you buy? And why would you do that? Let's start with Mclovin.
I've always wanted a New York team, but if you're opening up the pocketbooks, I'd buy the Jets, put them in Brooklyn right near my house, so I wouldn't have to go anywhere.
Oh boy, you know, I think everybody probably expects me to say the Yankees, but I don't actually want to own the Yankees. If I'm gonna buy a team somewhere, I'm gonna go like Barcelona and own like a Premier League team or something like that.
Barcelona.
I would want to definitely buy the Denver Broncos and move them to the Brighton Beach, Coney Island area, right outside my old apartment building where I can see the horse hanging over the stadium, and they would be the Brooklyn Broncos, and that would be a very cool thing.
Perfect. I think I'd buy the Penguins. That way I could own the Wheeling Nailers. Okay, Fritzy, who's on next week?
Reggie Miller will join us on Monday to recap the Final Four and look ahead to the championship game. Jennifer Garner will be with us on Tuesday, one of the stars of Draft Day. And Wednesday, we're actually going to be in the New York City studios with Brooklyn Decker, and Mitch Wild Thing Williams will join us in studio on Wednesday in New York. Stay with us, I know you will. David Faraday Thursday. Preview the Masters.
Brooklyn.
How about that?
Dear God. Okay. Well, thanks for watching the box score. Tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on Audience Channel 239, right here on DirecTV. Cheers.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!